Expand this site, the new London Road Bridge. Now the first bridge was said to have fallen down, but it didn't. It was pulled down. The Vikings that inhabited the city at the time of the first bridge, they saw another Viking fleet laying in wait, ready to invade via the Thames. As they started their invasion and approached the bridge, it was pulled down on top of the fleet, stopping them entering into the city. So the first bridge was in fact pulled down. The second bridge burned down during the Great Fire of London. The third bridge was falling down, so we sold it to our good friends, the Americans. It was sold for £1 million and then taken down stone by stone, then shipped up across the Atlantic to where it now spans the man-made Lake Havasu in the Arizona desert. The man who actually bought the bridge, Robert McCulloch of the McCulloch Company of America, he thought he was buying the Tower Road Bridge. And they do say you should have seen the look on his face when he opened up the box at the other side. Now again to our left, there's a gap between the first two buildings here. Down that gap, as we come closer, you'll see a tall stone column with a golden ball of flame at the top. That's the Christopher Wren's monument to the Great Fire of London. The monument stands 202 feet high, and instead of laid in an easterly direction, that's the direction we're travelling in, it would strike the exact spot where the Great Fire was said to have started, that being a small maker's shop in Woolwich May. Someone last summer in their stupidity actually asked me if the maker's shop in Woolwich May was still there. We do get all sorts out here, believe me. Now again to our left, you'll see the Yellow Brick Building. That's one of the most historical buildings anywhere in the city of London. It's the old Billingsgate Fish Market. There was a fish market famously registered on that site for over 1,000 years, but sadly a few years ago the tradition was broken and the fish market was moved further downstream to larger premises in the Docklands area. The building's now been converted into a luxury function hall. And the last remnants of the fish market itself are those two golden fish weather vanes on Harrie. But just behind that you see a few of London's newest buildings. This first one here with the black mesh netting on the front, that's called the Walkie Talkie. Now it was well publicised last summer as due to the concave face on the front of the building, the sunlight was refracting off it and melting cars down in the street below. The most expensive of those being a £360,000 Aston Martin. You can imagine the look on the fella's face when he came back to his car park. But that's why the netting's been put there as a countermeasure to that, and we just recently heard that what they're going to do is they're going to spend a further £8 million on the building, installing individual blinds on every single pane of glass to stop that from happening. We'll see if it works. But then just offset and slightly behind, you'll see the taller glass building with the crisscross windows. That's called the Cheese Grater. Then just on the horizon there, you'll see the top of that big blue glass rocket-shaped building. A lot of people ask me, what the hell is that? So today, I'm going to enlighten you. Its nickname is the Gherkin. There are a few other nicknames for it, but I can't digress because they're children born. It's actually the headquarters for the Ann Summers Group. It took a while for the penny to drop. How many Americans involved? No Americans? No? You don't know what Ann Summers Group is? It's a bit like Victoria's Secret. Right, it's a joke of course, it's the headquarters of the Swiss Re insurance brokers. But here to our right we have London's very own warship, the C-35, the code name of Her Majesty's vessel, the HMS Belfast. The Belfast was built in the Harlem de Port shipyard, Northern Ireland, in 1938. That's the same shipyard as the ill-fated Titanic was built. Later commissioned in 1939, she saw many visits of war. She took part in the D-Day landings at Normandy, the North Atlantic convoys in the Battle of the Atlantic, and also the chasing, shelling and eventual sinking of the German battleship, the Sharples. She last fired her guns in anger during the Korean War and was set to be scrapped by the government until she was saved by the Imperial War Museum. She now stands here today permanently and peacefully moored as a floating maritime museum to naval life at sea. But again to your right you'll see this glass building. Looks a bit like the world's largest crash helmet. That's the headquarters for the London Lunatic Asylum. In other words, the GLA, the Greater London Assembly. That's where the most eccentric man in Britain, Boris Johnson, has his office. Although it wasn't originally built for him, it was built for our previous London Mayor, Mr. Ken Livingstone. Sadly, he's had to vacate the premises, but fortunately for him, not too far, because now he's only over there to your left. That's where he should be anyway. That building is, of course, the world famous Tower of London. Now, the tower was started in 1078 by William the Conqueror. He actually started the centrepiece, the main tower, which is either called the White Tower or the Northern King. Following reigning monarchs added to it, and in his time it's been many things: a palace, a fortress, a royal mint, believe it or not, a zoo, but more importantly, of course, a place of execution. Look to the backside there on the river's wall, you'll see the bricked up archway with the words "Entry to the Traitors' Gate" above it. That's where traitors of nobility who rode downstream from the old Westminster Palace which you all know today as the Houses of Parliament. They were taken up through that archway and up onto Tower Hill, Tower Green, but they were later executed, which more often than not, the heads being chopped off. The night before they were due to be executed, they was usually stored in a park called the Bloody Tower. You can't see that today because it's behind the bloody trees. The last people to ever officially be imprisoned in the tower were of course the Cray twins that were kept in there for a fortnight whilst awaiting court-martial for being deserters to the army. The tower's not used by the government anymore. It's mainly open in use today as a tourist attraction. That's because now they've found far better ways of punishing people such as ASBOs and community service. But the next bridge, probably the most famous and photographed bridge anywhere in the world, known as the gateway to the city, the Tower Road Bridge. Completed in 1894 at the cost of just under £1 million and designed by Sir John Wall Barry. He actually designed it in the Gothic style to blend in with the Tower of London. It's a twin suspension and bascule bridge, the only one of its kind anywhere in the world. The two centre bascules of it, they weigh 1,000 tons apiece.